Hello, boys and girls. Today you're joining me in my kitchen as I make dinner for my family. We're going to have spaghetti squash. I hope you'll be able to use this recipe in your own home. But remember, this must be done with an adult because there are tools that you need to use that could be dangerous. Remember, do this with an adult. The first thing I do is set my oven to 350 degrees to preheat it. And of course, remember, before you do any cooking or handling of food, wash your hands. Now let's look at the tools you need in order to prepare your spaghetti squash for baking. You need a cutting board and an adult needs to use a serrated knife. That's the knife with the points along the edge. They'll use this to cut the tough skin of the spaghetti squash into 2-inch slices. Since we are baking the spaghetti squash, we need a baking pan or a baking sheet to put the slices on. I spray my slices with oil before I put them in the oven. This is the spaghetti squash I'm going to be cooking for my family. I'm going to turn it around so you can get a good look at it. It's larger than my hand, quite heavy, and it's yellow. I've started cutting this into 2-inch slices, but I want you to see the inside of the spaghetti squash before I finish. You see, it looks much like a pumpkin. It has seeds and slimy, fibrous strands that need to be removed before we can cook it. Now that I've finished cutting my spaghetti squash, I need to remove the seeds and fibrous strands from the center of each of the slices. I'm going to use the serrated knife to help me remove them. Remember, the serrated knife is for an adult to use. I've cleaned out every single slice. No more seeds or fibrous strands. And I have clean spaghetti squash ready to be oiled and then put into the oven. Well, they've been baking for an hour, so now it's time to take them out of the oven. I've got my safety pot holder on my hand because the pan's going to be very hot. And I'm going to carefully place them on the stove so they can cool just for a moment. Now I don't want to forget to turn off the oven. Here is a completely baked piece of spaghetti squash. I'm using 2 forks to help me separate the squash from its skin. And look at that, it looks just like spaghetti. And there you have it, a nice bowl of spaghetti squash. We like to put spaghetti sauce on ours. You can choose your favorite. We also use Italian sausage. I cut it into slices and I just spread it around on top. I hope you'll be able to use this recipe in your own home. But remember, prepare this with an adult. The tools we use could be very dangerous.